There were dainty egg and cucumber sandwiches in a decorative garnish of grated cabbage and carrots. There was cake, probably dark devil's food cake, and a magnificent bowl of rasmalai, all loaded up to and decked up in white lace. The tea trolley squatted resplendently in the dining room, glittering with china and silver, ready to be rolled out in style. So mother made a beautiful decoration of all these things. She prepared all the delicious things like egg and cucumber sandwiches, and grated with cabbage and carrots. And then she all these things she decorated in the trolley here. Okay, and then as usual, tea was to be served in the verandas where the guests were being entertained. And as usual, this was the habit of the family, that they used to serve the tea in the verandas where all guests they were being entertained. Excusing herself, my mother went to the dining room to make sure everything was perfect and to wheel out the trolley. Mother ensured everything. She excused and went to bring the trolley which was prepared. But horror of horror, what was that familiar and very suspicious headless brown shape right next to the trolley? And what were those slurping, slobbering noises emanating from the underneath of the tablecloth draped over it? When mother she reached over there, and suddenly she found something suspicious, headless brown shape right next to the trolley. Okay, Bombi was there under the trolley, and she was making the noise, eating noisily, and saliva that was coming from the mouth of Bombi here, creating the noises here. Bombi, bad dog, naughty girl, get your face out of there at once. Ranjit, Mala, get your wretched dog out of here. Mother got angry here, and she called the writer as well as her sister, okay, to take this poor dog, this naughty dog from here. It was too late. A dripping black muzzle covered with white rasmalai emerged from under the cloth, and Bombi looked up guiltily, smacking her lips. So it was too late, because she dropped everything and she came out of the cloth there, and all her lips they were smacking with the rasmalai here. We gazed in horror at the wreckage. The rasmalai was quite a mess. So they all were looking with horror at the wreckage. Wreckage here stands for the something that was spoiled, and rasmalai was quite a mess, and the rasmalai which it was made very dirty here. But luckily Bombi had not got to work on the cake of sandwiches. But luckily they were very lucky that Bombi did not touch the cake and the sandwiches. Only the rasmalai, if you see here in the picture, the rasmalai that was pouring down by Bombi here, and her face that was also slobbering here. If you tidy up the dish a bit, no one need know, smoothen it out and put some more silver paper on it, on the top, maybe in a smaller dish. It was not a suggestion that was welcomed, and anyway would not have worked, because Bombi had trotted off into the veranda to greet the visitor here. So they planned something to tidy up the dish a bit, no one need know, okay, and then they try to hide these all things. But Bombi, what she did there, she trotted off. She moved into the veranda to greet the visitor with the same dirty mouth here, and let her know how delicious the rasmalai was, okay, and she wanted to tell the other guest also that the rasmalai was very delicious here. Luckily the lady was very fond of dogs. Lady here, mother-in-law of Meena, okay, so she was very fond of dogs. She did not mind, and Bombi was pardoned instantly. Bombi, she was pardoned by the lady here. Where we slipped up big time was by feeding Bombi at the table. She was, after all, our very first dog, and none of us, my parents included, could resist those bleeding eyes gazing up at us like some half-starved wife as we ate. So what mistake they did there, they made Bombi to sit with them at the dining table there, and that was the thing that created problem here, okay, because Bombi's request, when the pleading with pleading eyes she looked up at the owners, so means they could not resist. Okay, and then they gave them it by sitting on the table there. Surely it could do no harm to give her a tidbit now. Okay, tidbit means small tasty bit of food, and then especially of the more unpalatable parts of your meal. How could you eat with those eyes? Okay, those eyes here means the pleading eyes. If she is sitting by your side and you could not give anything to Bombi, so no one would like to eat there. Okay, how could you eat with those eyes, pleading eyes? Okay, limpid pools, Mala used to declare melodramatically. So this was spoken by Mala, sister of the author here. We cannot eat if the dog is looking at us with the pleading eyes here, gazing at you like that, and traveling from your plate to your hand to your mouth, and we cannot resist the request of this dog here. In the old days, people used to put aside some of the food in their plates for birds and cows, and surely dogs before they ate. So this was really no different. In olden days, what do the people do? What the people used to do, they put outside on the side, one side they used to put the food for the birds and cows and for the dogs. So this was really no different. Sometimes, of course, you were in a hurry, late for college or school, and what better and quicker way to dispose of the rubbery toast here. So this was the better way if you give them outside there. And so nearly all her life, Bambi would turn up at the dining table during mealtime and sit and drool and whine and drool and whine and drool and whine here. Okay, so she was spilling out dry saliva when she was made sit with the along with the dining table here. So what was her habit? Drooling and whining there. Means saliva continuously it was spilling from the mouth of Bombi here as we try to eat. Turn by turn, she would go from person to person looking terribly martyred. Terribly martyred here means very sad. From person to person she visited there. If we refused to give her anything, and if she was refused to give anything, she visit person to person here. It would become 10 times worse when we had guests. This was fine up to the time when they were alone at the home, but when the guests come in their home, the time becomes very worse here. Knowing full well that she was not likely to get anything from the family, she'd sit down next to the guest, look pathetically at them, at him or her, as if she had been starved for the last fortnight, and start her routine. If the family member, they were not looking at Bombi and they were not serving her anything, then she went to the guest. Okay, and in a very pathetic condition, very painful condition, she looked at the guest, and it seems that she was hungry from the last fortnight. 15 days she was hungry here. If this didn't work, she would place a paw on the guest's thigh and continue whining here. If nobody listened to the request, what would she do? She does there. She put the paw on the guest's thigh and continue spilling out the saliva here. Bombi, stop it. Behave yourself. Put your paw down at once. And then she was instructed by the mother here. Do we behave like this when you have your food? You already have taken your food. We should not behave in this way. This was the instruction given by mother to Bombi here. And then she would produce her final weapon. What was her? Drooling copiously. She would put her dribbling chin on the poor guest's lap and look up sorrowfully, lying down a large swath of slippery drool on the guest cloth. These cruel people didn't give me anything to eat. I'm so hungry. So this was the sound that she was making when she was feeling hungry here. Okay, so means, and she would produce the final weapon. Final weapon means produce more saliva. Okay, in large quantity, produce the saliva, and then she sometime make the guest clothes also dirty with the saliva here. And then what she wanted to tell the guest, that these cruel people, the family member, did not give her anything. She was feeling so hungry here, and then making the noise here. Bombi, get your mug out of there. You have drooled all over auntie's lovely sari. Disgusting dog, really so sorry. Here is a napkin. Would you like a towel? Damn dog, here, let me wipe it out. wipe it for you. So in this way the mother, they were feeling sorry to the guest when the lovely sari or the cloth of the guest, they were made dirty by the dog here. Okay, so and if there were more than one guest, she would of course try her luck with each of them, and this was a condition of the one. But if more than one guest were there, she goes to each and every guest there. It was a mistake not repeated with the other two dogs, and has taught me a golden rule: no feeding at all, no feeding at the table ever. So they learn from their mistake that dog should not be fed at the table there. They should be given the food in the separate bowl there, so that they could be made stay away from the guest here. So this was the lesson that was learnt by the sister of the writer here. So this was all the chapter here. We have completed the chapter, students. I hope you will try to understand the lesson here. So thank you everyone.